And tonight, as we continue to vet the president, tonight we take a look at Obama's dismal record on religious freedoms. Now, the president's contraceptive mandate has prompted Catholic schools and dioceses to file new lawsuits arguing that it violates the First Amendment. And it's worth mentioning that one of the organizations bringing the lawsuit is Notre Dame University, which originally tried to work with the president in regard to the mandate. And the religious backlash against the president seems to be mounting. Now, the group called Catholics Called to Witness released a video calling on voters to oppose the president this November. Let's take a look. And here with reaction is the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Culture of Corruption, Fox News contributor Malkin. You know, I'm trying to understand politically. You have the contraceptive mandate. You have gay marriage rejected by, what, 31, 32 states. Look at these numbers. Should freedom of religion supersede government laws? It's a poll out, and it's simple. It's 74-26. Pretty simple, pretty obvious. Question that I want to know, why do you think the president is doing this? I have my theory, and I'm curious if we agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a mind reader, and in this White House, we have such a convoluted mind sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But I think that they have made a very misguided calculation that pandering to the Sandra Flukes of the world will pay off more for them at the ballot box in November than respecting the religious liberty of millions of Americans in this country. And in particular, I'm thinking of 540,000 people of faith who work in the Catholic religious health care provider services. It's mind-boggling that they don't see that compromising on these core American values is causing the backlash that we're seeing now.
All right, here's my theory, and tell me where I'm off base. Because the president can't run on his record, and he's failed, he can't get independence. Polls even are beginning to show that. So I think the president's made a decision to energize his base. But that's not even working. When you look at a convicted felon in West Virginia getting 40% of the vote, Arkansas, Kentucky last night, I think the president realizes his only hope is to get every liberal in the country. So he's reaching out to them. Am I wrong?
Right, sure. And I think that is of a piece of what I just talked about going after the Sandra Fluke constituency, which is such a fringe minority of Americans in this country. So, yes, what he's doing is trying to solidify whatever little base he has left. But in the meantime, I think this is a huge opportunity for the Republican Party and Mitt Romney to appeal to that broad majority of people who are offended at the tyranny and the trampling on basic constitutional rights and one of the most cherished principles of this nation and of our founding fathers, religious liberty.
Let me ask you this question. You did not support Governor Romney in the primary. He's the Republican candidate. Where do you stand with him? As you know, you're a very powerful, very strong, very outspoken conservative voice. You have a very strong constituency. Where are you with this election?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've heard from so many Santorum supporters across this country who want to make sure that their issues are represented and respected as we get into the general election. They don't want to be abandoned and thrown under the bus like McCain did in 2008. And I just this weekend read a fabulous book by Philip Klein, who's a young conservative writer at The Examiner, who made the case for survival in the Romney era. era. And what that basically entails is saying, yes, of course he's better than Barack Obama, but we will not hesitate or refrain to call him to the carpet when he tries to abandon our principles, when he's appealing to moderates. And I think that the point is that you can espouse very proudly and unapologetically free market principles and social conservatism and appeal to a broad base of Americans by pointing to the corruption and the abuses of power of this administration, and be clear to people that you remain a proud conservative while you are doing so.
All right, Michelle Malkin, it's always good to see you. I want to see Culture of Corruption 2. I've been requesting this. You're not granting my request. What's up with that?
Read my blog and Twitter page. You know that's where we are.
I read both, but I want the hard copy. It's time. We need it before the election. Thank you, Michelle Malkin.
Yeah.
All right, when we come